All right, we'll continue on with Missouri head coach Barry Odom. Coach, will ask you for a brief opening statement, and then we'll take questions. Reminder, just raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone to you.
Okay, great. Good to see you guys. Thanks for being here today, and thanks for your continuing coverage of not only our football program and institution, but the Southeastern Conference. And I appreciate the work you do for student athletes on promoting them and allowing the outside world to get a view of some of our student athletes and our program. Going into this season, as excited as I've been about a football team, partly because we've got a number of returning starters back and a number of lettermen that have played significant roles over the last couple of years in our program, but mostly excited about their work ethic, the way that they've approached the off season, starting back in January with their winter conditioning program through spring practices and now into the summer ball portion of their schedule. It's always when you get here and know that Media Day is here and on us, that practice number one is right around the corner. I look forward to developing and moving this team forward, building off some of the good things that we did late last year, and then putting them in position to be a better player and better team on both sides of the ball getting into 2018.
We'll take questions. If you'll raise your hand, we'll start right down here on the front row.
Coach, you lost a coordinator in Heupel. He's going down to Orlando, UCF. What can fans in Orlando expect from him as a person, and then what makes him special as a coach?
Well, I've known Josh for a number of years and was excited to get him hired at Mizzou, and he did a great job for us. He is a very, very competitive leader that will put his guys in position to be successful in every area of their life. I knew when we hired him probably weren't going to have him that long because he had aspirations to be a head coach, and he's really got the makeup on seeing the big picture, on being able to go do it. I expect he'll have great success early on, and he's a good friend that has done a great job in the business.
We'll go standing over here on the back right.
Hey, Coach. Derek Dooley, your new offensive coordinator, how do you anticipate him impacting the team this season?
Well, I looked at a number of different guys, and when that position came open, when Coach Heupel left, and looked at the opportunity on what this team needed and what we wanted offensively, wanted a guy that was confident enough to come in and not have to scrap everything that we had done the last couple of years, and just because he wanted to run his offense. I wanted to maintain some of the integrity of the things that we had done offensively, but also build on that and have opportunities to do some different things, either in personnel settings or formations or tempo or the different ways that you can play offensively. And Derek, from a leadership role, from all the things that he's done since he's been on campus, relationship building with our kids, I'm really excited he's on our staff. I know he's going to put our guys in position to be their best. And he's been good in the staff room for me, being a former head coach.
We'll go over here on the front row to the far left.
What sort of development have you seen from Terez Hall and Cale Garrett since they first got to Missouri, and in what ways do they complement one another?
Well, they both of those guys, the positions they play at inside linebacker, we rely on them being so versatile in the run game and then in pass coverage. They've both grown in both of those areas, understanding how all 11 pieces fit together, where their fit needs to be, how they play off of each other. So the consistency for them on now having experience, really as many snaps as anybody on the roster has played, they've got it, and they've done it together. So those guys, they speak the same language on the field. They've got an opportunity now to work together in drill work. And then in live competition last year, I look for both of them to have their best year. And I think that the work that they've put in, not only on the field, but the learning and the classroom work, the extra time that they spend together watching film together, that's only going to make us a better defensive football team.
We'll go standing over here to the right.
Coach, you have one of the best quarterbacks in the country in Drew Lock. Where is his football IQ right now, and how much have you seen it grown from your first year to your second year?
Yeah, you look at the physical skill set that Drew has is one of the best in the country, if not the best. The thing that you want to keep pushing for him and allow him and provide him the resources that now he can take his game to the next step and the next level, and that's getting a play call, reading the defense, putting us in the right position with the play call and maybe checking out of it, and understanding where the ball is more likely to go once the ball is snapped. The ability that he's had from the time our bowl game was over in December to today, his football IQ is better than maybe the jump that he made from his freshman year to now. He's learned so much. He's fine-tuned his footwork. And with the experience and the understanding on what we need out of that position, I expect and anticipate him to have a special year. But we also need the 10 guys around him to play really well, because if they do that, it makes his job easier. If we can run the football, then that opens up some ability in the pass game that's going to help us out, and it all plays together. Drew's done a great job on commanding leadership, providing it, showing it by his actions, and then following through with it on being a leader for our entire program.
Go to the front row of the camera position over here on the left side.
Hey, Coach. We're from Baton Rouge, and I don't know if there's such thing as a perfect kid, but Lindsey Scott is held in very high regard there. I just want to know your thoughts of adding him to your team and what will he bring to your team?
Well, when he showed up in January, the things that we got to know about Lindsey in recruiting were a number of the things you just mentioned. A high character, tremendous competitor in everything that he did, classroom, on the field, in the meeting rooms. He is an example of a guy that whatever his role is right now, he's going to make sure that he's pushing the guys around him. He's providing leadership to those in the room and in the unit on the offensive side with him. But also, he's a heck of a competitor, and he's going to help our football program out in a great deal.
Go over here to the right side, the end of the second row.
Coach, I'm sure you've heard what C.C. Jefferson said yesterday. What's your response to that, and then what's your message to Mizzou fans?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the message.
What C.C. said yesterday?
I didn't. I'm sorry.
He basically said that playing at Fairfield Field is like playing at a morgue. It wasn't exactly that, but he said it's so quiet there, and he just doesn't like it. It's very weird. And he basically criticized Mizzou fans.
I got you. That was about last year's game against Florida. Yeah, I mean, the opportunity, I think that every year is going to be different. I think that, I think the score is 45-16. I thought our fan base was pretty good that day, supported the winning team and the home team. And I have great pride in representing our state and our fans with great energy and great passion in the right way. And I'm thankful for them. I don't know exactly what the comment means, but we'll focus on Mizzou and trying to get as good as we can get. And I'm sure after we get into week one, we'll try to focus on week two, and then when it gets to be Florida week, then we'll get ready for that one.
We'll go to the camera position right there in the middle in the front row.
Coach, how beneficial is it to have a returning starting quarterback as you work to try to put in a new offense?
Well, I think the new offense, there are going to be some new components to it, but also we've got a number of returning starters back on. So it's not, we didn't scrap the old and start over with the new, but I wouldn't trade, I appreciate the question, I wouldn't trade experience for anything. Now my challenge, because when I was a defensive coordinator in 2015, we were pretty darn good on defense. 2016, we had a lot of guys back, and we weren't very good on defense for a number of reasons. So if you don't do anything with that experience, if you just think, well, they got it, we're going to be okay and continue forward and move on, then you've failed your kids as a coach. So, the charge for us as a staff is make sure that every guy was on the field last year that played at a pretty good level. Well, he's got to play at a better level this year, and then that's the way. Then you become a special team when you can put that together. They got the drive and the determination to get better than they were a year ago when they had some success. There's also times the last couple of years that we didn't play very good offensively. And so for us consistently, that's the challenge on scoring points, on the turnover margin, on making sure we play smart football.
Go to the back of the camera platform, far right.
Coach, Drew said earlier today that he's taking more snaps under center. Still early camp hasn't even started yet, but what have you seen from him under center, and what does he still have to work on and improve?
Well, I saw some things during spring practice when we did that, some under center work, and during the rules this summer, I can't be around them when the football is on the field, so I haven't seen that work this summer. But Drew and what we're doing offensively, there's a number of different ways that you're going to take the snap out of the shotgun, you're under center. That's just some of the building blocks that we've got within our offense on how we can play. And I think him understanding, the footwork that it takes in some of our things that we're doing offensively, either under center or in the gun. I mean, that's so important on being able to deliver the ball when it needs to come out, where it needs to go, and it's a timing with the receiver that you develop over time. Luckily for him and for us, he's got experience in doing that, and he's running the workouts with the receivers and the tight ends and running backs on being able to get where we start in August with practice number 1. It's not their first day out there.
We'll go to the camera platform in the middle in the very back.
Coach, all the way back here, not sure if you can see me or not. Just how important was it 4 years ago to sign Drew Lock, #1 player in Missouri, as well as the #1 player in Illinois, and Terry Beckner Jr. for the program?
Well, you look at, and I'm going to date myself at Mizzou a few years, but you look at when we rose to #1 in the country in 2007, 10 of our 11 starters on offense were from the state of Missouri. So there's players there. You got to find the right fit for your program. We got to do a great job recruiting St. Louis, Kansas City, rural Missouri, making sure we got the guys that want to be at Mizzou, that we can get them there, and then train them and develop them and move forward with Missouri kids, with kids from Texas, wherever they're from. But that year specifically, being able to sign Drew and Terry, that was a big statement for our program. We're getting close to getting back to that.
We'll go to the camera platform in the back far right.
Coach, me again. How much of a part of the conversation was Drew Lock in hiring Derek Dooley? Because it can be easy, I think, when you put up big numbers like him, to maybe get a little selfish and say, well, it's not my fault, or I don't want to change something that dramatically going into his senior year. So how much of a part of the conversation was he, and how easy was it for him to buy in?
Well, I included Drew on some conversations because he was at the same time going through a discussion with myself and his parents whether or not he was going to come back for his senior year or go to the NFL. So I thought it was important to keep him involved with some of my thoughts on working through this together. And I thought when we got some things narrowed down, I wanted, and he talked to a few guys, but I think, the opportunity that he and Derek had on the phone to visit for a while, that helped both sides of the conversation. And, by no stretch did that wasn't the determining factor whether Drew came back or not, but I think it gave him some ease in helping him and his family make that decision that he was going to be in good hands.
Over here on the second row to the right.
Coach, Drew was talking about, what he missed most about basketball, and he was saying trash talking a little bit. Obviously you like that in a team leader, that passion. How do you sort of encourage him in that regard, and do you ever find yourself trying to pull him back a little bit?
No, with the ability to talk or not to talk, you better be able to back it up and let your play speak for itself. And, I know Drew's that's the first time I saw Drew compete was in a gym. I was recruiting him for another school and was able to see him compete, and such a great competitor, admired the way they approached the game. But really, at the end of the day, if you're good enough, there'll be plenty said about you, and so you don't have to tell somebody about it. But I like Drew's competitive spirit. I like the way he approaches the game, and everybody who's wired a little bit different on what gets them going competitively.
We'll go standing over here on the far left.
Hey, Coach, this is not a trick question. It's just a non-football question, kind of. You're 16 years old. What is your dream car?
Well, when I was 16, that is a great question. Vahe Gregorian with the Kansas City Star and I took a trip to my hometown a couple weeks ago. So he saw how I was brought up. So I should give him the mic and let him answer that question. But at that time, because of the job that was required and the rural area that I was growing up, I needed a new pickup truck. And I know there's some stares probably in the room on why is that, but there were some things that would have helped my life be a little easier at that time.
Stay on the left side, go right here in the back row.
With Terry Beckner Jr., multiple serious knee injuries. A lot of guys, that's pretty tough to come back from, and they don't actually come back from that. What does it say that he's now playing at such a high level and just kind of the character that he has?
Well, I think, there's a lot of things that go into having an injury and then having the mindset and attitude to be able to come back from it. And he did that early on in his career, and then for whatever reason, he had another one, right? So that point to me was maybe the breaking point one way or the other for Terry, because he knew how hard that rehab process was, and he knew what he was going to have to go through again. For him to be able to do that, and now he's healthier than he's ever been. He's been able to really go through a full off season, and we're going to see he will see the rewards of that for him. But it speaks volumes of not only the type of person he is, character, and really toughness that it's taken for him to get to this point.
We'll stay right there on that third row on the left side.
They were talking about Beckner. Do you remember recruiting him in high school, just how quickly it took you to get sold on him, watching him on film? And what do you think he's kind of changed most about his game since you've had him?
Well, I think, obviously he was one of the highest recruited guys in the country at that time. Knew he had tremendous ability. Also understood that when he got into our program, and they've had great success at East St. Louis High School over the years. A lot of great players, and Terry's been one of the best ones. But also knew that we had a guy that would continue to develop, and it was really just starting to scratch the surface on being a dominant player. But he spent a couple years in the weight room developing his body, understanding how to play the position in the game with hand placement and leverage and all the things that go into that position, that he could be a special player. The thing that I've seen him grow the most in the same area, if you look at, this get away from the physical development side of it, just the mental approach that he's taken to the game, from the nutrition on how to fuel his body throughout the week, on the prehab and rehab continuing with our sports medicine department, on making sure that he's ready to go play his best. He's really matured in that area, understanding what it takes to go play successfully.
Go to the camera platform, far right in the back.
Coach, you had that great 6-game run towards the end of last season, but you still did not end up beating a winning team last year. So I think for others, it's maybe easy to dismiss you guys. Do you sense that there's maybe an extra fire around the team coming into this season, or is it more just business as usual?
We learned lessons from last year. You always critique yourself, and I'm talking myself and on down throughout the program. You want to make yourself better and your program better, and find out and learn lessons and history, whether good or bad. You learn from it, and the reasons why that we had success last year at times, and then reasons why we didn't. Those are more of our approach on let's not revisit that. Let's understand the positions we were in last year and why, and learn from that and grow from it, and continue to build and move our program forward.
Go to the left side, front row.
Hey, Coach, has Derek Dooley talked with you at all about his time at Tennessee and stories there, and how can that stint maybe help him now as the OC at Mizzou?
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot, and talked about it a lot during the interview process. There's a number of hours that we spent over the phone, and then had the opportunity to meet up and then spend a whole, another day and some change on talking philosophy of football, on talking program, on talking recruiting, on talking the things that he has encountered in his career, the things that he's learned. If he had a chance to do it again, what he would do differently. He's been a valuable resource for me.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go on the back row over here, on the right side.
Hi, Coach. When Derek Dooley was at Tennessee, he was known for his iconic orange pants. There was a Twitter account dedicated to the pants. Everyone loved the pants. Does he have a pair of pants at Mizzou?
Have you seen our Mizzou's colored gold?
I have.
Okay.
Yes.
Just get
it's
ready.
Very bright behind you.
Just get ready. We got gold pants. they'll match our players. I'm joking. He'll stick with what we wear in the coaching. We have no vote on what we wear on the sidelines. Our equipment guy comes in and says, here, you're wearing this, you're wearing this, you're wearing this. So we'll see if we can mix it up a little bit, be a little different.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.